Hi guys. Gonna quickly double check, as always. Sup Yama? There we go. Okay, cool. Give me a few seconds to get the stream going, and we'll kick it off with some ambient organic house. Hope you guys are doing well, by the way. There we go. Stream going. Okay. So, I feel like making some ambient stuff today. I don't know, probably some of you watched my most recent video where I talked like about life for 30 minutes. So I want to speak about that a little bit today too. Right after I put that video out, it was like, because I kept it on my phone for like, I think 3 weeks. I was really, I didn't know if I wanted to post a long video like that, but I at the end said, hey, this is important. You know, stuff like this is important to just speak about life in general. Okay, 30 minutes. I was like, maybe it's a bit too long. I should show. Like, even then, my mind was like, come on. Ooh, laggy. 1 sec. Yeah, but I was like, why should I condense it? Why should I cut it down into a digestible video? Like, let me just long form, 30 minutes, speak out my heart. And that felt good. Felt really good. And I'm happy that I put it out. And right now, like, my focus is not to please the algorithm. I want to have a different approach with my titles and thumbnails, not make it so flashy in your face. In the beginning, it was fun, like creating titles and thumbnails that were like really wow, like look at my face, look at this plugin, red arrow, circle, you know, the typical eye-catchy thumbnail. I feel like drifting away from that a little bit more and cultivating the audience that I have already built that is that knows me for who I am, you know? And I don't feel like always having to reach out this, like, throw this or cast this wide net each time I post a video, you know? Like, you just want to cultivate the audience that I have here. So that's a quick little life update. Yeah, and right after I posted the video, I'm gonna be honest, like, I feel like something has cleared up in me. Like, something has, like, I felt like I got something off my mind that needed to go. And then from that, the inspiration started to flow. I was like, okay, now I can focus on whatever I want to focus on. So I started learning more, you know, watching tutorials myself on Organic House and rewatching some older tutorials of mine to refresh and replenish my inspiration. Getting a few lags here. I think this is coming from the stream. Yeah. So that's the plan. Just make music, start musical projects, and see where that takes me. So I'll dive into Ableton Live right here. Before I do that, let me read the comments. Oh, that's me. Chat wiederherstellen. So we got Dave Schultz, Morse hand music. Yes, ambient. And we got Grow as an artist, and we'll grow together. You're loud. Build a community. Cheers, Dave. Thank you so much. So yeah, that's the whole point. I want to just, you know, I feel like what really makes me happy is creating grooves that I feel good about. And then taking that groove, that initial spark, that idea, and turning it into a full track is like the next level of, wow, I love this. And on many days, I'm going to be honest, discipline is required. Like I have to, but I feel like this is something that should be treated with some level of discipline. Like you can't always wait for inspiration. However, I feel like when you detach yourself from the whole content YouTube algorithm thing, you are far more free with the way you approach music. Because as musicians and As musicians, we're always paired with being content creators as our source of income. And with that source of income always comes a sense of pressure. And when you have pressure, creativity cannot flow. It's like that. Sometimes, you know, if you have a bit of pressure, that might be like the salt on top. It actually can help your flow, but chronic pressure, I would say, is bad. And I've had a lot of chronic pressure recently. So I feel like taking it a step back, definitely on the YouTube side of things, just to regain some more inspiration to get back to YouTube. That's the healthy flow, you know? The source is music. The source should always be music and your love to it. And I felt like I'm going to be honest here, I lost that for a long time. And I thought to myself, okay, I have to push harder to create more content so the flow will come to me then. You know, I'm not waiting for the flow will come to me if I push harder on YouTube. No, my friend, not like that. I would say push less harder on content creation, take it a step back from that, and replenish your music, replenish the joy that you have from music, start creating grooves, and start exploring new plugins, new sample libraries, VSTs, stock plugins, watch tutorials, experiment yourself. Like that's what I did before I had this YouTube channel, and honestly, it's what I want to continue doing. So yeah, let's dive in. I think I've spoken enough. That was a quick little life update on my behalf. This is a session by that I got from Dulu's Patreon page, and if you guys don't know Dulus, he's an organic house producer who's released on Tim Green's label. Tim Green also being one of my personal favorite artists that I listen to a lot. And he created this default template with a ton of his favorite sounds to use, and I feel like it's a good starting point. It's helped me. Now I'm not using every single track here, so you know I could also delete out a couple of tracks. But I felt like giving you a rundown of what I have prepared here, because I like the way this groove is structured, and I actually I kind of studied it. So yeah, I started with this Tim Green kick. This actually seems to be some kind of a kick from his track Loon. Excuse the occasional lag. I think I'm gonna have to crank up my buffer size so it doesn't lag as hard for some reason. I think it's the template with all the sends here. It's causing the lag. So let's delete these. Do we have any other BST that we don't need? Let's see. Maybe I'm gonna create a track from scratch in a moment, just so you guys know. But right now, I just want to go through this project file because I think it's gonna be very valuable educationally. Where was the buffer size? 64. Let's go 256. That should go a bit easier on the CPU. So yeah, I started off with the kick. Let me crank this session up a bit because I feel like it's mixed very quietly. Yeah, it's a kick, fairly balanced, very transient heavy, I would say. You can tell that Tim Green uses transient layers. I think since this is a ripped kick, like the kick was taken from the original track, there seems to be some kind of hi-hat layer. You can usually recognize that the kick has a hi-hat in it if it has like these fizzly waveforms at the beginning. So that is an indication that it might be ripped, might have some hi-hat layer or something like that. Yeah. Because it's when you extract the kick, you need the kick to be played in isolation, and in organic house you always have some kind of hi-hat or top loop on top of the kick, so you have to really mess a lot with the frequencies, like the multi-band splitting. It's not 100% reliable. But after that, after the kick, 4 to the floor, I went on to the hi-hats here, and this is a layer with 2 sounds, both using Audio 10 samples. So one is more of like this lower hi-hat, and another one is a higher, like the higher frequency register. Or higher timbre, higher, I don't know how to say it. It covers the lower end of the frequency spectrum. This one, it feels a bit wider and fuller. And this one feels a bit thinner and higher. Combine those two, get a slightly fuller hi-hat compared to if you just use one each. So layering is really important. Then for the clap, oops. Wait, solo these three. For the clap, I use 3 layers initially. Starting with, again, another Audio 10 sample. This is more for like the transient, the initial click. These types of claps I find to be really valuable for organic house. These 909 based, like very high frequency claps. Pair that with the transient, sounds really good. And then you got some kind of a snare here. Excuse me, it's not a snare, it's a hand clap. And this is a really wide sample. If you have a hand clap, a clap that sounds like it's being, you know, like you're clapping into your microphone, and you put that to the stereo, layer that with your samples, sounds really good. Get this really fat volume center type organic house clap. And then I layered that with an additional clap layer that's also stereo. This is also a hand clap layer. Has a bit more higher frequencies. So the claps in total. And you can tell this layer has some kind of a pre-shift effect. Like it starts a bit earlier. So if you see, you zoom in, this clap sound starts a millisecond earlier. This gives it like this little pre-shift effect. And these are such minute little details subconsciously picked up. So we got kick, hi-hat, clap. So without this layer, really tight. And with this layer, get that slight bit of like pre-shift. That's what I love. This layer over here, this percussion layer, this is really valuable. It's like some textural percussion. And already with this percussion layer alone, the groove sounds really full. Listen to how it sounds without it. Still like a very rigid, on the grid, tight drum loop. Like I wouldn't start my track this way. However, if we add this loop alone, so much more life. Those in between tiny little textural percussion details are really what give this groove fullness. Pair that with a few more claps. I think this is a clap too. Yeah, I just felt like extracting this. And to be honest, I just use top loops from different sample packs. And if there's one sound that I feel like layers well with my claps by accident, I extract it. I take it out of the loop. I literally go into the loop, highlight it, chop it out by hitting Command E, and then I delete the rest, and I place it on every second, fourth beat, wherever the clap hits. And yeah, I do that for hi-hats as well, percussions. Drag in loops, extract my favorite parts. So we got kick, hi-hat, clap, and a textural loop here. This one is the textural hi-hat groove. Oh, sounding fuller. And then I think this is a shaker. Yeah, like those 16th shakers. Could have done this with MIDI, but I felt like this loop had a nice little percussion in between, which also gave it some fullness. You hear that? Yeah, I love those tiny little sounds because these are subconscious sounds. You can't really, like, you don't notice them, but you feel them. They add to the groove. This is some shaker loop again. Has more of a swingy feel to it and some open hi-hats in between. Yeah, again, subconscious type stuff. It's already sounding fuller with each little layer here. And another shaker groove. I don't know if this was entirely necessary, but I love layering shakers and 16th hi-hats. They go really well with organic house. And some even more loose shakers. Like, I think this one was a loop. Yeah, you see it's an entire shaker loop, but I just took one particular section that I like. You don't really need more. And then I looped it. So in total we have this. These two are the percussions. I'll show you those in a second. This is another hi-hat that I extracted from a loop. You see here, I didn't consolidate the clip, and this is how it usually looks like if I find a single sound within a loop. I literally chop it up, set fades, add maybe some fills in between. Yeah. Same for this clap. It's from some kind of loop, top loop. And for those of you who are curious as to how I find my samples, I just type in top here, go into all, and then it shows me all of my samples. So if you have a few sample packs, like this, for example, I feel like the hi-hat could fit well to the track. I drag it in, extract the hi-hat. There we go. And finally, we have another hi-hat here. Yeah, it's also from one of Dulu's sample packs, I think. So in total, this is how the tops sound. Oh yeah, I forgot the percussions. These, dude. So without the percussion, regular freaking top loop. But with the percussion, it gives the whole top loop a character and phrasing. Yeah. It's just some random percussion one-shots. So if we pair that with the entire track, oops, let me disable the synths. Solid. And once I have the drum groove ready and I feel like, whoa, yeah, this is tight. This is what I was looking for. I move on to the pads because I've mentioned this a few times before, and this might be a slightly spiritual approach, but in my opinion, the drums are the foundation. They are the masculine. The melodies are the feminine. The pads are the transition to the masculine and feminine. And this is my theory here. This is something that I just came up while going on for a walk. I was like, yeah, man, that's a nice way of thinking about it. And ever since I have that mentality, I've started with drum grooves. Like I always start with drums now, and I feel like my tracks just turn out better. In my last stream, I started with melodies, and I don't know, like making that transition back into the drums. For me personally, it's not that comfortable. I love starting with drums. So I start with a foundation, which is a pad. And I'm using this rack by, I think, Peaks of Valleys. He also has a YouTube channel. And this particular rack is sample based, which means that it has samples from some kind of synth resampled. And if I go into, where is this pack? Didn't I put it here somewhere? Yeah, here, Peaks of Valleys. It's called Textures POV Project, Peaks of Valleys. And this rack here allows me to filter between 4 pad loops. So I just choose a particular note, which is F sharp. And already, you know, vibe is set. You have the intro of the track already, basically. You have the vibe of the track set. Or you could filter out individual parts like this. And I think this is a great way educationally also to learn about how pads are created. You start with layers. You just add harmonics on top. With harmonics, I mean higher registers, frequency-wise. Like just add notes on top to put it even simpler. Or layers on top. You get a really full sound at the end. Using LFO, you can add movement. Movement to the filter and the amplitude, the volume. Resonance, if you feel like adding that notch. So resonance is something like this, you know. This is always great for pads. For pads, you usually want to have movement. You want to have some kind of swelling up and down, you know. Yeah, and this particular pad, I resampled it into a new layer. See here. Oh, one sec, guys. I just heard something fall down. I'll check. I'll be right back. Jeez. Excuse me. Our neighbor's cat, I think, nearly fell out the window. Yeah. But everything's okay, luckily. So where were we? I resampled this pad into a new layer, into a sample. Yeah. And then you got yourself the foundation to your track and you can start arranging. Yeah, that's it. I'm going to start a new session now, doing exactly what I just explained, as intuitively as I possibly can. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. I'll read through the chat every now and then. And I want to show you guys the new plugin, the Borealis thing. I'm going to do that in a second though. So give me some time here. I have to think about which template I want to start off with. What's up? Who do we have in the chat today? That's the way it always is. Make space and the goodness fills it. You can't work harder to forget the path. Slow down and the path will appear. Yes, Dave, you're absolutely right. What's up, Dennis? The Alchemist. Yeah, Pixel Comet. Mr. Brown Alliance, man. Our moderator. What's up, man? Using gender is very problematic these days for certain groups. Evening, folks. Wait, what? Good afternoon, man. Okay. So, I have a couple templates in my user library. I think I'm going to start with this one. Yeah, we're going to start with drums because I feel like creating drum grooves. And then I'm going to create a pad and I'll explain as much as I can on the pad. But today's goal is create a drum groove, a drum loop. And add a pad on top of it and see how it sounds. And for those of you who don't know about it yet, well, actually, I think nobody knows about it yet. I started a new project, a new sample project. And that came from me just starting new tracks, allowing myself to make music freely. When you allow yourself to make music freely and just have fun, without any pressure. The ideas, I guarantee, will just start flowing to you. And I started it. It'll probably take like a month or two until it's fully finished. But it's called Roya, which means dream in Farsi. And I think this is very fitting. So yeah, without further ado, I'll give you updates in the future. But for now, I'm going to create the drum groove. So let's start off with a kick. I think this one should work. Let's disable the processing for now. And let's look for a hi-hat now. Let's open up the drums group. Go into the main hat layer. Search up hat. And I find it far more intuitive to search for samples in the All tab, because then you get all the samples in your entire library rather than limiting yourself to a certain pack. It can be fun to limit yourself to a certain pack if you know that pack has sounds that you know work out well for you, especially if it's one that you yourself have curated. But if you're looking for some new inspiration, some new sounds, maybe some sounds that you don't expect, the All tab is definitely the way to go. So I'm looking forward to layering samples anyway. But for now, I'm going to choose one. And I already have an 8th note pre-programmed, which saves me some time. Okay, sounds good. Has some low end though. Let's cut that out. And one way which I like to do it if I'm not using drum rack is I hit Command G on the hi-hat, open up this panel, and I start chucking in new sounds in here that I feel like have a slightly more different characteristic compared to the one that I already have dragged in. This one has, like, it feels low. It feels like this one feels higher. It feels thinner. Now I can decide which one do I want to have more in the foreground. Maybe this one has a very wide and fat sound. So let's see if this... Yeah, you see this one has a tail, which is really long. The reverb tail. You could also decide to cut it out a bit, so it's not as extreme. After I've done that, I usually move to the clap. At least that's my current workflow. Let's take this first one. Let's see if it fits. Oh, that's a bit too much. Cut down the sustain, and then we have decay to play with. Sustain, I put to -infinity because decay and sustain are values that are connected to each other. These play with each other. Sustain is volume, decay is time. How long does it take to get to this volume? That's decay and sustain translated. How long will it take to get to this point? And I put it to -infinity so I can really clearly hear the decay. And sometimes you can also modulate the decay slightly from one clap to the other. So you could have like a slight opening and closing. But I don't know if this is the clap that I want to go for today. I'm going to group it, open it. See if I can add some other samples that fill out this clap here. Let's see. Hoopa. Okay. Sounds like a really short and tight clap. I'm not sure if I'm going to keep it or not. Just going to leave it in there for now. Let's actually save this session. Ableton Live 12 live stream. Today is the 26th of August, so I'll call it live stream 2608 24 25. Yeah, and then I have an additional hat rack here, which is part of the Duluth template, which has a few pre-configured hi-hats. Could again just loop an 8th note here. That was a 16th. Works quite well. Could do the same for the claps. Take the main clap, put it here. Take this note and just layer it with our existing claps. So this is a very 909-ish clap, what I've mentioned in the beginning. Oh. Yeah, this is quite nice. Yeah, this fits perfectly with the other clap. 909 claps as layers, man. It's an absolute vibe. What I feel like doing is adding some kind of a... Yeah, exactly, something like this. But we're gonna put it... We're gonna slightly make it wider. So I'll select the right range. Doesn't need to be perfect. Crop it. And what I'll do is just add... You can add a line delay. A line delay is the best way to stereoize one-shots. And it doesn't matter which mode you use. See, we have a really stereo clap here now. Yeah, and it's just on this sample. And we could also pitch it down. Or up. Yeah, up 2 semitones is good. Nice. Really fat sounding clap now. Yeah, and then I usually, what you can do is you can take your hi-hat, like I'll duplicate this. Let's see if this works. And I'll create a 16th rhythm out of this. Take it, put it away. So, okay, 16th, lower the velocity. Next one, slightly higher. Or let's start high, let's go lower then. Like this, duplicate, lower, maybe, slightly higher. I'm hitting command and dragging it up. Alternative, you can just change the velocity here. And let's duplicate, slightly change the velocity so we have a bit more variation. Here we go, loop this. And now we don't want it to sound exactly the same as our main hi-hat because you'll get phasing, which means it'll give you like this lasery type sound effect on every accent hat. We don't want that. So what I'll do is change the start position of these sounds and also give it some attack. Start position, attack. Attack means that it starts a bit later. You can't really visually see it here, but you can hear it when you layer it. See? Now each of these sounds has a different start position and a different attack, which also just makes it sound good. You could also modulate the attack and decay again, but really subconscious edits, mini edits. Maybe thin this one out a bit more. So this would be our first 16th hat layer. Got it. Kick, hi-hat, clap. This is still very rigid sounding. Still very like tight, too tight. We want to have a bit more life in here. So at this point, I feel like I'll just go through top loops and see if I can extract individual one-shots from those top loops or phrases that I like. And again, I go into all, just type in top. For example, I like this hi-hat. I like the hi-hat. So I'll create a new audio track. I'll put it here. And I'll just select my favorite part, maybe just this. Dial it down. It's not the right part. Let's see. Much better. And what you can do is always mess around with the pitch. Set an EQ. And I repeat that process until I feel like my groove sounds full, or at least the top loop sounds full. This is nice. I like the clap here. So what I'll do is I'll go in here, I'll take the clap, cut it out. Oops. I'm hitting Command E to set chops. Command X to cut the sample. This is a perfect clap layer. And I'll duplicate this track. Drag it out like this. So we have, maybe we could use this hi-hat too. Nice. Highlight, Command J to consolidate, duplicate, highlight both of these, Command J again to consolidate to create a larger clip. Gonna call this one clap, shaker. What is this here gonna be? I like this part here too. It has some, oh man, I love this. I love these little tiny blippets. Yeah. Perfect. So this is one phrase again. Duplicate, duplicate, duplicate until the end. Look how much value I gained from a simple top loop. Has some phrasing in there now. And some phasing. So this we need to cut out because it's already in here. Yeah. This we need to consolidate and duplicate. And sometimes I use shifter if I feel like the hat is too high frequency-ish. This basically pitches up or down the sample while retaining the character, because often when you pitch it down here, you get warping artifacts. This is quite clean. And you can still warp. Forward transient is really good here, this mode. Yeah, continue to, I feel like the shaker groove isn't full though. I feel like we definitely need some more shakers. Let's continue to go through the tops though. I don't know if this is too loose. This one here, let's see. This is a nice top loop here. Loop it. No, I don't like this. Yeah, this is far better. Yeah, it adds value. See, if you take it out and you blend it back in, some stereo shakers. Tiny little details like this is what really gives this track life. You can always blend out and blend back in individual layers. And I can consistently do that. I'll duplicate this track again to see if there's some more value that I can extract from it. Maybe some percussion one shot. Now we don't need this loop to be this tiny. We can actually take it back to the original length. Adjust the EQ. There we go. We have a ton of percussion that we can use here. These two. And this tom here. And this one too. I like these. Now we just need to dial in on that frequency range. Where are bongos? Where are congas? Percussion generally is mid-range. We don't want those hi-hats. We just want the mid-range perks. See? Dial the EQ in the highs until you hear the hi-hat. It's okay if it's a bit in there. Now the tom I cannot hear, so I'll duplicate this track. Make sure that only the tom plays here. Dial in on the lower frequency spectrum. Oops. There we go. So this is what we have now, the percussion. Oops. Consolidate this clip, Command J, duplicate. Oops, my bad. I'll have to undo that because I didn't set the right range. Just to double check. Yeah, this would be the right range. Now if I duplicate this, we'll stay in that 8 to 16 bar framework, okay? I don't know about this clap here. You know what we could do? We can automate this so it's tight at the beginning. Why is there no automation for this? I think because I have multiple clips selected. Yeah, if we select one clip and highlight the rest, shift click, Command J, we consolidate the entire clip. You know what? I'm gonna undo that. I'm gonna keep it with just one. Yeah, I'm gonna keep it with just one, and I'll delete these. So we'll work with this. Go into envelopes. Now we click this. Go like this. So we start tight, and on the second clap we get an emphasis. So we get wait. That can be fun. You can duplicate, and then on the second one, I'm gonna tighten it back down a bit. So we get a very inconsistent feel. And I'm gonna dial it down a bit because I feel it's too loud. There we go, son. Now this one is pretty monotonous, this groove here. I still like it though. Maybe add some retro color to give it some flavor, to give it some retro feeling. At least add a bit of texture, some wobble, some noise, some inconsistencies to make the sound come to life a bit more rather than being just this weird loop. As Kenny Beats once said, retro color turns everything into a sample. Like you put it onto a friggin' synth, it sounds like a sample after that. Like a really human vibe. Vinyl 3 is cool. However, it is quite loud. Yeah, let's continue to search for samples that we can add. Maybe shaker this time. Yeah, this one sounds really full and loud. Let's take it. Doesn't fit to the groove though. These are all by the same brand. These are Afro shakers. One shots. Sounds okay. Perfect, yeah. And maybe just top it off, add another organic shaker layer using Contact. Contact has a few cool libraries. My favorite one for shakers, you probably know it, is Shimmer, Shake, and Strike. It's by far the best library for shakers in my opinion. Clevgrand has another library called Skaka, which is also kind of good. This one's just my go-to because it's easy to set up. And yeah, just gonna find the right pitch. Yeah, C2 is where the loop plays. Drag it to the very end. And I'm going to take down the reverb and delay. Search for... Actually, before I do that, I feel like searching for a different pattern. Oh yeah, this is nice. Because it also has claps here, which layer well with tops. And it gives you a nice stereo spread. So without this loop, bro, it adds like a whole layer of depth. And sometimes erosion helps. Wide and dirty. Sometimes it might be a bit much. Like it changes the tonal character completely. Make sure that doesn't add any low end. Put it before the EQ. And sometimes vocoder can actually help, and you probably know this. Some of you might know the hi-hat vocoder trick. Add some white noise, carrier noise. So before also works, but after, it's a lot more white noise. And you can also automate the format. As a matter of fact, you can automate a ton of stuff. And I usually like using LFO for this. And it's mini stuff like this that helps. This is the old LFO. Where's the new one? Let's go into modulators, LFO, put it here. Yeah, map it, for example, to the format. Open up multimap, add this to the amount. Okay, for some reason it doesn't show this guy being automated. Maybe because we're in mod mode? No, no difference. I want to change the intensity here. Nice. Maybe add... like this is too much highs. Was this the layer? Yeah. Just going through my layers here, double checking them. Perk 1. Perk 2. Give the kick a bit of a low end boost. Sounding good so far. In my opinion, missing a bit of texture. Yeah, that's what I mean by texture. There's weird sounds. Or like this. Actually, let's create that ourselves. Yeah, let's not use a sample this time. I remember how I created that. There's a kit called Sither. And it comes with Ableton Live 12, I think. Or you could also purchase it. It's not necessary, but it's fun. Yeah, it's... looks like this. It's a drum rack, drum kit. Has a few nice percussion sounds that have round robin inside, which means that if the same sample is played twice consecutively, twice in a row, it sounds different each time. Should. Yeah, you hear? Some have more reverb, some don't. Yeah. There we go. This is the most fun part, in my opinion. Adding those hooky little percussion phrases. Oh, yeah. And I feel like adding something else in this little space here, but we already have ourselves another little phrase here. And maybe you could type in perk, go to all, do something like this. Just chuck in one shot here, stretch it. Is it warp? No, it's not. Warp it so we can stretch it. Take away the low end, maybe. Do some crazy stuff. Get creative. Oh, never mind. That sounds like... but... maybe this one here. Try it over and over until you feel like you get something nice. Test out different warping algorithms, maybe texture. Oh yeah, Broda. Pitch it down. Put it into some weird ass reverb. Detail. You gotta fall in love with the detail if you love this genre. And believe me, it's quite the challenge, but the more you do it, the more you get the hang of it and the more fun it becomes. Each time I start a groove like this, it's different each time. It never is the same. And that's just the beautiful part um, of making music, especially this type of music, because I feel like it's so intricate. There's so many layers and they need to be so subconscious, you know? I love subconscious little details that you do not hear. You don't even know that they're there, but you just hear them. If you feel them somehow, you just know the track sounds, wow, there's so much, like, it just sounds so full. Like there's a fair balance between the obvious and the less obvious. You know, this is, for example, very obvious, this percussion sound. People and producers can hear that and they say, okay, he used the percussion on that particular point. But it's the mini sounds, like these tons of hi-hat layers. Or this right here. That isn't necessarily picked up by everyone or by the ear instantly, but it adds to the fullness of the track. And if you're that type of producer who wants to work with 3 stems and feels like that's a full track, all power to you. All power to you. But I feel like having more of a custom approach, more of a sound designy approach, and it's more satisfying for me to work like this. And in the end, we could just consolidate this entire drum groove into one stem and call it a loop 2, right? But it's just very custom, very fun to put together tracks this way. Or loops. We have a snare rack over here. Let's see if we can chuck in a snare somewhere too. Oops. Command Shift M to create a MIDI clip. Maybe like a little fill here. No, that does not sound good. My bad. Yeah, this is a nice fill that could work at the end of a drum groove. Yeah, we'll just leave it at that. That's fine. And maybe another percussion. We could add another percussion somewhere in the middle here. Again, let's just type in perc, go into all. Maybe this will work. Warp, texture, stretch. Beautiful. These are way too organic. Ooh, that is sounding nice. Maybe we could take this, put it here somewhere, and just extract the mid-range. For those of you who came for the Ambient plugin, excuse me if I'm diving into drum grooves. Before I dive into that plugin, I want to go into this first. Oh, dude, this is what I mean. Like, I love these types of sounds. Oh, yeah. You know what? Let's actually leave it just this. The less the better, yeah? All right, let's I feel like let's go for maybe just some top loop. Like I'm at a point now where I don't know what to add, so I'll just go through top loops, see if I can find something from those top loops that I can add on top. It can be just the higher frequencies, just the mid-range, just the low end, just a one shot. Just drag and drop, see how it sounds. Sounds like crap, don't use it. You know? Trial and error. I like this. Get creative with the processing. There's no limit. Try some weird delay, some new plugin that you've purchased or something, or just go for Ableton stock. Sometimes I just chuck in very randomly. There we go, another subconscious sound there. Okay, now we can, I'm gonna read through comments. If we have a few comments, feel free to comment, guys. I do read through them every now and then. Hey, this is my first time seeing you live. Cheers, man, nice to have you here. What's up, Jays? Moin aus Nordhorn. Jay, do you ever my Tycho style tracks? I've heard Tycho and I love his style a lot, but I've never really tried to produce it. Been digging the tutorials lately. Nice work, Lotus. Thank you, my friend. LotusTunes shop. Man, Mr. Brown Alliance, thank you. Thank you for moderating the chat, my friend. What's up? Hallöchen zusammen. Conduit. We got Conduit speaking German. What computer do you use? I'm using Mac Mini M2. It's very, very good. I love it for multitasking. Like you can see that I'm streaming and I have Ableton Live opened at the same time using a ton of different tracks. Not a lot of VSTs, mainly sample based, but still a lot going on, however. Those subtle background drums really make the groove. Yes, they do. Especially in the style I'm trying to make, micro house, etc. Oh yeah, for micro house, I would say that's even more important. I use some reverse hats to enhance the groove. True, true. Reverse hats is something that I hear often in tech house as well. Tech house, like those techie styles, kind of sucks your attention into the groove if you place them correctly. Sucks your attention. Okay. It sucks your attention to the groove if you place them correctly. And by correctly, I mean never on grid, always off grid. Exactly. He made video about MDD Snake and browsing through drum kits in the drum rack. That upgraded my grooves massively. Awesome, man. Happy to hear that. Yeah, my Max for Live videos, they're quite creative. True. Description of video sums up the Borealis perfectly. We were vibing with the track now. Okay, cool. Drum Brain video was also helpful. Happy to hear that, my friend. Ambrosia, what's up? How are you doing, Zahand? I've lurked a few times, but I've been feeling very sick to talk. Hope you're doing well. Oh, man. Get well soon, my friend. Drink a lot of tea. Tea with ginger and lemon. And once the tea cools down a bit, put some honey in there. Don't put the honey in while the tea is hot. That's the best immune booster. Like, do that over and over and over. Really, really helps clean, like, the bactus out of the body. Okay, let's dive back into the drum groove and let's have some fun with the pad. I hope you guys learned something from the whole drum procedure. if there's something that I would sum up this whole thing is default templates help a lot. Layering sounds helps a lot. And using the All tab to search for sounds helps too. Place your percussion off grid, as we've just seen in the comments, and look for subconscious sounds. Sounds that you don't necessarily hear, but you feel, especially when layered with other sounds. Yeah. So I'm going to delete a couple tracks that I feel like I do not need now. I just haven't used. For example, this whole percussion track. I'm going to take all these, put them here. And put the clap. And so just do some rough organizing. So we have the core drums here. And like the detail drums here. Yeah, drums are sounding solid. You can hear that there's time spent. Time has been spent on these tops. You can always hear if a drum groove has, you know, if people spend time on it, if it has love inside it. Love is in the detail. Yeah, and always A/B test. That's also something I wanted to say. Always blend out, blend back in. Nice. Good. Sounds good. Now let's get a vibe going. So I'm going to use Omnisphere. It's my favorite synth to create pads. I've been looking for alternatives recently. I found also Mantra by Mantra Instruments. They're the creators of Borealis. They have another library called Mandala. And they have some cool sounds in there. But for me personally, it takes a lot of time to load. And for some reason, the login thing didn't work. And it took me out of the flow more than it took me into the flow. So I feel like spending some time on that synth. I'm going to use Omnisphere for now. And I'll go into all. I'm going to utility and initialize the patch. I think we're already initialized. Yeah. Yeah, we are. Let's go into A, sample, folder. And this is my default place to look for sound sources for when it comes to pads. So textures, all, and then just find something random that sounds good. And just type in a note. Oh, that is dark. Let's continue to search for sound sources. This one's very happy, dreamy. Dude, this is cool too. Or what you could do if you feel like the results are too random is search for just a particular tonality here. Minor always works well for me. Yeah, that's it. That's the sound I was looking for. Why did I close Omnisphere? I don't know. Close that. Go into oscillator B. Enable that. Sample. Folder. All. Again, go into textures. Maybe this time let's go into fifths. I love it. C. Enable. Sample. Folder. textures. Maybe go through these. Some of them are lower, some of them are higher. I pay attention to how they sound together. I like this because it has a nice impact to it, like a doo-da, very unique style. Awesome. I'll take out the unnecessary low end here. Now, I'll try to make these sounds blend into each other. Modulation. How do I open up the mod tab again in Omnisphere? I haven't done that in a while. Doesn't matter, I think. Modulate with LFO. Ah, there we go. Yeah, that's how we do it. Lower rate. Lower the rate on this LFO. Maybe also the depth. And the amount. Oh, cut off very suddenly here. That's okay. Okay, so we're getting some movement. Our goal with this is to add movement to the filter, so we gradually blend in and blend out higher frequencies. Because higher frequencies usually carry a lot of energy. By taking it out and in, we're adding breath. Adding like inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. And if you do that for the individual layers, it's like inhale on one layer, exhale on another, and then inhale on the other while the other one's coming back. It's like, makes it more interesting. Generally, we are energy, right? Everybody's energy. Energy is waves. Energy is up and down. Life is up and down. Sounds are up and down. We're going into freaking spiritual territory here, my friends. Welcome. Welcome to LotusTunes stream, where you will go into spiritual territory every 5 seconds. Yeah, man, that's the beauty of this genre. I feel like I discover more of those intricacies within this genre. I was at another rave a few days ago by the same collective that I've mentioned in the video that I've posted recently. And it wasn't as cool as the first one, I'm going to be honest. Mainly because a lot of the music that was played was hard techno. Now, I'm very open to genres, which is why I just enjoyed the evening anyway. But I don't really like hard techno, man. I feel like there's not a lot of space for intricacy. It's really in your face, up front, dopamine, let it out, which is okay, you know? But I feel like, man, this genre is just something else. It takes you into a different space. And it's up to taste at the end of the day, but I love this genre a lot because it teaches me about intricacies and these fine little things. Attention to detail, you know? It doesn't have to be like, wah, 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 and the massive break, massive drop, massive, like, before the break, this pre-drop vocal, resonance. Come on. You know? But yeah, let's continue with this freaking groove here. Let's not get carried away. So again, basic 12 dB low pass. Low pass filter is cutting the highs. It only lets the lows pass. What we could do is add a bit of resonance here. Right click modulate with LFO. Let me get this panel that opens up. Isn't there another way to open up the modulation panel? Kind of forgot how to do that, yeah. Anyway, let's do the same. Oh. That's a bit much. Let's decrease the depth. A bit too much resonant too. We want to get as slow modulation as possible. We don't want it to be audible. So low rate. Do we have another modulation source? Let's modulate with LFO2. I feel like this layer is too loud. So we got modulate with source LFO3. So we're getting different rates on the LFO. Okay. And I'm just messing around with the cutoff frequency on the layers. So this one blends out too heavily. Good. Lower rate, lower depth. Ultimately, I would say it's about treating everything, every single layer with love. Every hi-hat that you put in, every track, every pad, every layer for the pad, treat it with love. Give it unique processing, unique modulation. Make it feel human that way. And let's not use these effects. Maybe some formant filter. I don't know what this is doing, to be honest. No. All right. Now, I don't know how long I've produced, but I didn't show Borealis until now. Sorry, guys. Let's do it now. Okay. Finally. We opened up the plugin. Yeah, it's a reverb plugin. Reverb, granular, echo, delay, all in one type thing with this very unique XYZ interface, meaning that if you open up the configure panel, you get X, Y, and Z. Those are the three most important parameters which control everything that you've mapped to X, Y, and Z. So X, Y, which is like the circle, and Z is somewhere here. Graphically very interesting, also at the same time very minimalistic. Yeah, cool. But how does it sound? We get a ton of these different presets here. Cavern, you see okay, it's dark and dreamy, has some arrhythmic echoes. Driven, freeze, echo hall, granular, endless, orbital, ping pong, CeeLo, studio, piano, sanctuary. Wow, you get a lot of these different reverb presets. So if we click on the preset browser, you can actually sort by tags. So if you want to go for a granular reverb, you can click granular, click abstract, which is a preset here. And if you play, this preset already has built-in modulation. For me personally, I feel like it just has a bit more reverb. You can also set the input volume and some threshold here to react to the incoming signal. I feel like this one isn't so different. So let's scroll through a couple of the presets. Yeah, this one you can really hear. It has like a higher octave shimmer layer, and the parameters change according to which preset you have active. You can open up these parameters here and see X, Y, and Z. Like the X, Y, and Z parameters that you have down here correspond to these guys. And according to the value that you set here, you see the delay increases here. If I increase the X value, the feedback increases. And Z seems to be mapped to the dry wet. You can also open this panel by right-clicking, as it seems, set tempo sync. And you have a ton of these parameters down here that you can open up. This is like a LFO. Mod 2, Mod 3, you get 3 different LFOs and 1 envelope follower. And the envelope follower, I believe, is also what you see at the very front. How do I get out of this panel? By clicking here, yeah? Yeah, this is the envelope follower here. So what I usually do is I'll resample, like I'll choose a preset. I'll hit resampling. Record arm, maybe increase the volume on this layer and just hit record. For some reason it's still very quiet, so let's crank it up a bit more. Open up the plugins interface, and then I would just mess around with XYZ. See how that... Maybe go through a few more presets here. These are like this really spacey reverb. Could also go through more categories like freeze. Yeah, this one sounds very shimmery. Also very nice. It's almost like a completely different sound all of a sudden. Oops, yeah, let's take this sound, for example. And duplicate this track. Shift tab and scroll through the sample. So we start fading in different parts into each other, in and out. Perhaps this layer we can also pitch up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Give it a different warp mode, maybe. Nice. Loop this. Let's take Borealis again. Let's load up a fresh instance and see if we can add some more effects onto this second layer that we've created. Let's see what else we got. Vintage Chorus Bliss. Do we have something else? Nice. Let's add an auto filter to this layer. So make this more mid-range focus. bandpass it. Oh, we're getting some massive CPU cracks here. I think it's from the Borealis instances. Yeah. Nice. You could also choose to change the key of these two by pitching them down. Nice. Yeah. What else is it that I want to add now, man? Maybe go sub stab. Doom. So we seem to be in the key of A, yeah? Or G sharp. Yeah, G sharp. G sharp is the key. If you play your sub at a higher octave, you can recognize the pitch easier. See? Yeah. Dude. Yeah. Yeah. Don't want boom boom. Let's add some synth here. Oi, we're getting some CPU crackles. Come on, hold up with me, son. You know what? Let's freeze and flatten these two because I don't want Borealis to be adding to the CPU. Boy, but why did they make it 99 bucks? This is way too expensive, man. This reverb. I would say it's max 49. 49, 59 if you want to really get some sales, but 99, boy. That's perfect. Let's capture that. Command A, Command U. Quantize. So we can add some more modulation to this sound. And we need some more toms in between. Oh, so many ideas at the same time. Da dum 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 da dum dum da 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 da. Yeah, A B. A B. Or do da do da da. There we go. I'll add some detail to the sound. Okay, how can we add some tiny little... I'm gonna have to loop this particular sound here. Oh yeah. Let's go for that. No, it's like a pitch bend here. And don't really know what I'm doing right here. Just testing out if this preset has any modulation that I can change in some way. Okay, there we go. What did I do? We're getting some LFO action here. Where's the... There we go. Now we can add another instance of Borealis. Borealis. Oh yeah, you really hear the reverb at work when you have a shorter, plucky signal. ARP expander maybe? first preset. Okay. Can we add some more movement to this? Arturia FX filter M12. Frick yeah. Okay, maybe a bit too crazy. Less of those peaks, resonant peaks. Let's add this filter M12 to this. Again, it's about movement. You see, it's breathing in, it's breathing out. It makes the track feel more balanced. So without the filter, look how it sounded. No movement. Static pad. Can work. It works. But in my opinion, this has more groove. This has more movement. And I feel like we're already heading into more of a dancey territory, so why not go for this? Are we really in the key of G sharp? Yeah, that's G sharp, okay. Let's see. Frick yeah. Put Borealis here.
Borealis.
Yeah, but a longer tail. So we want a long tail. Let's go for church. So we want more of a longer tail, higher size. What is tilt? What does tilt do? I don't know. Interesting. And sanctuary? Massive cosmic reflections. That sounds good. Yo. Let's just stick with this. Duplicate the track. Freeze and flatten this maybe. That's pretty nice. This is a bass line, however, now. Whoa, what the frick? Okay. Okay, maybe that was a sign for me to read through the comments. All right. I was speaking about hard techno previously. I see we already have a few comments on that. Love is in the detail. That's a good one, Kevin. Yes, that love in the detail line hit me deep. Oh. Nice. Nice groove and vibe. Thank you for sharing your knowledge. You're welcome, my friend. Lol, hard techno is insufferable to me, but the people who like it can be really cool. Yeah, same. I've really grown to like hypnotic techno recently. Yeah, hypnotic techno, man. There's a guy called Mordio on YouTube. Mordio. He's also from Berlin, I think. He makes hypnotic techno. I love his stuff simply because he's authentic. You can really tell that he's just doing his thing. And he is really freaking creative. And he inspires me for organic house. Like, you can tell if somebody is just authentic, it doesn't matter what style you produce. You can always learn from people who are authentic and creative. Good to see good to have you back. Hope you are doing good, Kevin. I wouldn't say I was gone there, Mal, man. I just need more often time to reflect on things, and I definitely want to change my approach as to how I treat the YouTube channel. Again, I want to go less into casting like this wider net with each and every single YouTube video. Let me turn on some music in the background here. And just cultivate the audience that I already have. You know, and just keep it chill, keep it authentic, and not try to make this a massive business, because YouTube always pushes you into this direction of creating a business. The algorithm is coded in a way that makes you push towards growth. And simply having a dashboard like this, how many people are viewing, how many comments am I getting, how much attention, how much retention, getting all these metrics that are relevant to growth and business. But those metrics keep you in the mind, out of the heart. And I've experienced so much of this, energy transfer from the heart to the mind, from the heart to the mind. And at some point, you just lose inspiration and really you're like, why am I doing this even? For a lot of people, they enjoy business management and growing the channel to a point where it's like many other people can start working for you, and you start becoming like this CEO who starts communicating, managing. And I don't want that, I'm okay with being able to monetize myself and grow and allow, abundance to come to me financially by also providing value by selling stuff, by selling sound packs, courses. However, it's not the only thing that I'm looking forward to do, man. I just want to cultivate my artistic side, be able to perform music and just capture my emotion into a track and have somebody else experience that. And I've really pushed that away recently, so I want to put that to the foreground more now. So yeah, I think you can download this but a limited free version of their site. New plugin always feels like a new toy for us, just happiness. Yeah, big dopamine hit. Sounds dreamy. Thank you, my friend. Ambrosia says, did you see MDD Snake got a new version that integrates with the Live 12 MIDI generators? It feels way better to generate and edit simultaneously. Yeah, I've seen it. But I feel like, honestly, not too much of a massive difference for me. I feel like that little Max for Live MIDI generator panel is very small and really crammed in. So I kind of like the version that's currently in here. That's definitely overpriced. Lots of granular verbs out there. True. Hey there, finally managed to catch a stream for a bit again. Happy to hear that. Gutter God, my friend. Sounds lovely, thank you. Speaking of movement, what's your opinion on Cable Guy Shaper Box? Love it. Really fun. I mostly use presets, but it's still good. Use it a lot for percussion. Track is quite dope so far. Thank you, Hansen. Was geht ab, Diggi? Hello, sir. I'm lately into hypnotic techno as well. Check out KAF Wolf. Dude, das klingt wie so ein Maschinengewehr. What is that? Insane track. Danke, ich zieh's mal rein, Diggi. I've heard many echo the slippery slope in the dark. Better the music is, less business you have to do, maybe. I don't know. I don't know what you mean by that. Like, you mean the better the music, the less business you have to do? Or what do you mean? I don't know if I agree. Hey, bro, love you. Love you too, man. All right, let's get back to the track. I love this bass fill here. But don't. Ooh, another nice bass sound. Reverse, maybe. Change the format. That's actually kind of nice this way. Let's keep it like this. Put in some reverb. I mean delay. Or reverb. Let me process my drums with the drum bus. There we go. Pulling them up a bit, just compression. Makes them sound tight. There's one clap that I don't like in here. I don't know if you heard that too. I don't know where it is though. It's odd. I can't really hear it. when I solo the groups. Yeah, I think it's this. Yeah. Yeah, it's this little percussion hit, which is totally fine. I'm just gonna do it like this. Yeah. Okay, that's basically this track here. I feel like I've messed around with the loop enough. Maybe consolidate a few clips that are tiny so arrangement doesn't become too difficult. Usually having 8 to 16 bars of consolidated clips, far better for the eye when it comes to arranging. So I'm just going to hit Command J on all these clips to make sure that they're just one clip here, yeah? And then we transfer. And for those of you who don't know, there's a shortcut that is life-saving. I don't like arranging in this view too much as of recently. I feel like the other view is a lot better. So I'm going to subtract and take away all the tracks that I feel like I don't need, that are literally doing nothing. Now I've minimized my session to only the tracks that I'm using. Delete this track too. This track too. Now I can highlight all these tracks. Or I don't even think I need to highlight. I can just hit Command-Shift-I. And it transfers all the clips that I have into arrangement view. Into session view, excuse me. For some reason, it puts them into the second row. I think that's like a safety precaution. But what we can do is just put them into the first row. You can hit play and it plays. Make sure all the clips are playing. Okay, for some reason the synth is now off key. I don't know why it did that. Maybe we can correct it here. That's weird. Let me reset this preset. Yeah, that's okay. Now these tracks are not looped. You can see that the timer will end in 3 seconds and the tracks will stop playing. Oh, nice intro. So what you'll have to do is loop those clips. Go back into the individual ones like this and loop them. This is the only disadvantage of transferring your clips into this view. Yeah, or you can just hit the loop here. Or just highlight all and hit loop. Sometimes that goes wrong if you don't have even clip lengths, so I just recommend you do it manually. You see how it loops the pads incorrectly now? So always recorrect. "32 bars. Or let's go for half that length. Yeah. And then you can just duplicate the first row twice, preferably just for safety. And you subtract from this row until you have your intro. So the first row is going to be the intro. And I don't know if I feel like doing this to the very end. My power's kind of running out right now. So let's see if we can just quickly put an intro together consisting of the main elements, which is kick. Take away the synth. What is this here? This is literally nothing. So let's delete this. This can be taken out too. This too. Let's leave this pad in here. I don't know if we're going to use it. This is percussion. Too much character for the intro. Snare we don't need. Shakers also not. The sub is too much too. The sub always has too much energy for the intro. Can we take away a hi-hat? No, not the main hi-hat. 16 hi-hat. Yeah. The claps. Yeah, we can definitely take away the claps. Still sounds good. Yeah, this is high energy hat. Still another top loop in here somewhere. Where is it? I don't know where it is. Can't find it. Is it in the drums group? Yeah, it's in the drums group. So it must be... Actually, this is kind of sounding good too. Okay, this is too much for the intro. We'll have to filter it down in this section here. And click the frequency, hit tab. Oh, excuse me, not tab, shift tab. So you enter this panel, go into envelopes, and you have your auto filter frequency here. So the intro clip's going to be lower frequency. And as of this clip, we're going to double click it, set it here. So if we play this clip, set max, and this is the intro. You can also call it here intro, give it a different color so you know that it's that. So less filter here. Opens up here, you see that? And then you duplicate the intro. Command D, call this one 2. And here you can add the hi-hat back in, for example. If that doesn't sound good, then try adding in different elements. Like this, I like this. Too much. Okay, my light just turned off. It's gonna become a bit darker now. Maybe add the pad here. Now you build your track slowly. You duplicate part 2. And you add some more elements here, like the percussion. And then for the next part, for example, call this one 3, this one 4, and on 4, what we're gonna do is put this synth here, take away the kick. It's a lot of scrolling, I know. So there's gonna be break. And then drop. Where's that synth? Jupiter synth. It's here. Okay, it's in the bass group. I accidentally put it here. You can also put it here. Bum bum bum. Maybe we can add another one here. You know? Progressively add. You can create a second break that's longer. And add some more elements later on. And once you have yourself some idea that you like, you go out of this loop, click somewhere else, like here, hit record, aka play on the intro, and then hit record. Yeah. So you see it's arranging properly, recording properly, I mean. And you just chill. Now, give it some more time, of course. Right now I'm just hitting play one after the other. 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. I could have hit play there, but I'm going to continue to let it play through. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. That's need a lot more, like, you know, there's detailed transitions. The transition in between each and every single one of these phrases here. Also, I feel like melodically we need some more ear candy. Melodic detail. Da, 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 da. Like a voice or some other pluck. See some detail right here, some ambient pad maybe. So anything. Yeah. Just go through presets, pigments, Arturia, Diva, whatever you have, and just resample. Get so many ideas. Maybe add a flute. It's actually kind of fun, this part. Add some chords here. Add some voice on top. Dun, dun. boo, 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 boo. You know? Your voice, dude. Use it. It's the best tool for ideas. Yeah, and then you build your outro, but I'm not going to do that now. So you get a rough sketch for your arrangement, and then you see, okay, this is weird. I could remove this in this section here, maybe reintroduce it back in the drop. Yeah, and so on and so forth. I know that the thumbnail might not be fitting to this video because I thought I would go into Borealis a bit more, but I ended up with drum programming. I still hope you enjoyed. Yeah, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed this session a lot. I feel like I learned a lot through explaining. But yeah, I definitely need some rest now. Been making music practically the whole day, making grooves on and off. So yeah, I'm working on a new project currently. Originally wanted to start a track of my own, but I ended up going with the sample pack. I felt inspired to create this one. I'm gonna continue working on it, maybe create a track in between. Track of my own. Maybe I could turn this one into a track. Definitely a lot of stems in here that I could use for a track. Yeah. Hope you guys enjoyed today's stream. Some bit saturation. Yeah, guys. All right. Cool track, man. Yeah, it's missing some melodic ear candy. Drums are really full sounding. Some drum feel. Pause. Book-a-doom bow. We're gonna have to do some more subtracting here though. Maybe reverse this sound here. Yeah, it swells in here. You get the point. Yeah, guys, I'm gonna end it for today, the stream. I hope you guys enjoyed. I'll just quickly read through some final comments, let the track play through in the background, and yeah, then we got it. Nobody makes organic house or other niche genres to make money anyway. So remember, folks, it's all about the love fun. Yeah. Yeah, some people sustain themselves by DJing, mixing, mastering services. It's okay to make money with it. There's a lot of venues to make money with a very niche genre like organic house. But I would say in essence, it's still about the fun that you have. This is what I meant basically, conduit. You can get to high level in your niche and get to mainstream like so many do. Yeah, for sure. There are breakthroughs in Tim Green out there who start labels and tour a lot and play big shows, but like that, it's a very, very small percentage of artists. So yeah, just point taken. Getting a lot of comments here. If anyone wants track feedback, send me a DM, says Conduit. It's a banger. Thank you so much. God says, I'm so happy. I thought I'd have to buy a new interface, but I fixed my problem with some contact cleaner spray. Nice, man. Cheers. Listen, volume pot. Hooked us with the Borealis, kept us with the sick track. Thank you, my friend. All right, guys. I read through the comments. Thank you so much for joining in on today's live stream. I hope you guys enjoyed. I'll see you in the next stream. Bye-bye. Cheers.